What was Henry's religion? How was it made up? We, today, will discover this in this short video. To start with, we must visit Piddly Parva Parish Church to discuss the pressure from the population on the king and his government. The factor affecting Henry's religion was, of course, the general pressure from the population. Henry could not afford for the citizens to be unhappy, and they would be unhappy if churches like this local parish church in Piddly Parva was to disappear simply. He could not risk another uprising like the Pilgrimage of Grace, so to counter that, in the bishop's book in 1537, he found the 4 lost sacraments. In 1538, Henry VIII published the English Bible. To learn more about this, we talked to Professor Herman Greif.
The English Bible was a form of mass propaganda for Henry. Not only was his image in all the parish churches in England, but he was the new head of the church, not the Pope. That's why Henry implemented the Act of True Advancement of Religion in 1543. He didn't want people in clubs such as this in Piddly Parva fighting about the Bible. He thought that only the rich upper class should have access to it.
Now we go to American Professor Jonathan King to discuss possible reasons as to why Henry would choose to dissolve the monasteries. Early in his Reformation, Henry used the abuses of the church as a reason to begin the Reformation process. Cromwell presented Henry with the VIII Ecclesiastes. The VIII Ecclesiastes showed the wealth of the church and the condition of the church. The VIII Ecclesiastes showed that the church, or at least the smaller monasteries, were in no fit ideal state. For example, Henry accused found his abbey keeping 6 whores and the mismanagement of cattle and timber. Whilst this may not have been true, it gave Henry a reason to dissolve the abbey, and thus claim the riches for himself. This showed that Henry was interested by the possible financial gain of the church, and also he was heavily influenced by Cromwell. However, to truly understand why these changes were made, we must ask Henry VIII himself. We will now travel back in time and interview Henry, and we will find out some of these answers.
Henry, why did you break with Rome?
I broke with Rome because he would not give me the annulment to break up with Catherine. See, Catherine could not provide me with the male heir, which I therefore so need.
How do you feel about transubstantiation?
What is this paper's term?
How about the Eucharist then?
I believe that Jesus is truly present in the bread and wine. I can see no other alternative, which is why I played such a prominent role in the trial and execution of John Lambert in 1538.
Do you believe in justification by faith alone, or the Catholic practice of good works?
Well, justification by faith alone is a huge danger to society. I fear that if it is implemented, that my kingdom could crumble. It's of great importance that Christians should maintain good and lawful behaviour. It is essential that we have this restraining power of doctrine.
Why did you implement the 10 articles, the 6 articles, and the King's Book?
I implemented those because my people needed to know the true word of God. I could not afford for there to be any diversity of opinion in my kingdom. I was already in great fear of an invasion from abroad. I could not have any rebellion in my own kingdom as well.
How do you see your role in religion?
After I broke with Rome, it became more and more apparent to me that I had been appointed by God to rule my kingdom spiritually. I'm like Abraham leading my people. Because now of my newfound responsibility, it was my duty as king to reform the church of the many abuses. This is why I began shutting down the monasteries in 1536. After I had received the valor ecclesiastical from Cromwell, as well as reducing the number of saints' days and reforming the attitudes of the people towards images, shrines and pilgrimages.
Who or what influenced you to reform the church in England?
Initially, what inspired me to reform the church was my desire to get an annulment from Catherine. But later in my reign, I began to be influenced by people such as Cromwell, but I also had to react to the situations of the time, such as the Pilgrimage of Grace in 1536. And when the Treaty of Nice was signed, I had to revert to a more Catholic approach, which is one of the reasons I published the 6 articles. In addition to this, it became important for me to shut down monasteries, as it was essential for finances to fund these potential wars.
Why did you publish the English Bible after previously burning its creator, William Tyndale?
I decided to publish the English Bible as a form of propaganda. In every parish church in England, there had been my image delivering the word of God to the people. However, I could not stand the thought of filthy peasants debating the meaning of the word of God. As I have said before, I could not afford diversity in opinions. In the case of rebellion, this has been why in 1543 the Act of True Advancement of Religion restricted the use of the English Bible to the upper class.
Okay.